are on one side, okay? Smart is going to help give him a platform for him to express his disappointment about what may have happened to him over the last few weeks. And that was going to certainly make government look bad. It was going to look like the security situation in Ghana is such that there's no freedom to express oneself. And then the Transparency International, we're going to have a look at it, and it will form part of their database and data analysis, etc., etc., etc. Anyway, so this is what happened. Whilst people were waiting for it, it is speculated, and we don't know whether it is true or not, but it sounds plausible, okay? It is speculated that somebody sent this note to God's Brain Smart sometime before the interview. What does it say? It reads as follows. This is a post. It's not clear when it was posted, the date, but this is how it reads. It is by Mr. Hyde Bongo. He says, Captain Smart is a very unprofessional journalist. Great journalists are thinkers, not emotional noise makers. He should learn from Bernard Avle. That is what the guy. But you, Hyde Bongo, you know that you have put such information out about Captain Smart. You know that. You don't discuss it with him. You are expecting him to give you a platform. That's why I said this. He's having a second bite of the very bitter pill. This is what happened to you, Mr. Bongo Hyde. This is what happened to you at GH1. You wrote nasty things about people, and you were going to them to try and get something to do. It's not going to happen that way. That's one side of the conversation. So when Captain Smart read this one, many people react differently. Maybe if I read this, I'll still host him. I don't mind. But everyone is entitled to react to things said about him in a certain way. The other side of the angle, the other side of the kettle is this. So Captain Smart gets worried when people say things like this about him. He can get worried, and every morning he's saying things about people and calling somebody dog, and he wants to call people dog. But when you are told that you are unprofessional and that you are an emotional noisemaker and that you are not a thinker, he is not happy with it. Captain Smart is not happy to be told that he's not a thinker. But that's very heavy. That's heavy, isn't it? He's told that he's not a thinker, and he's told that he's an emotional noisemaker. Sometimes people say that truth hurts. I don't know how you see these things, but people say truth hurts. Because if Bongo Hyde writes about me that I'm not a thinker, I really don't care. I don't care. You can say I'm not a thinker a million times. I don't care. Because the evidence doesn't bear out that. The evidence doesn't bear out. You can dislike me all you want. If you say I'm not a thinker, okay, it's fine. I'm fine. It's okay. No problem. It's fine. So, because it's untrue. I don't care. It's untrue. And then you say I'm an emotional noisemaker. Yeah, no problem. No problem. We'll still dance Angelewa in the studio, do our things. I have no problem with it. But as I'm saying, everyone is entitled to react to when things are said about him. So no one can fault Captain Smart for the way he has reacted to this. I'm just looking in and saying that, but Captain Smart, you don't like people saying things about you like that. So why do you always say things about people that you know are not true? It's not true, and you know that you're just saying it to create likes and ticks and things like that. Anyway, okay, so the story continues. Oh no, sorry, I'm not gonna get me the rest of the story. The story continues about the publication that a guy did. Is it okay? Yeah. So he said this is what he said. So this was apparently sent to Captain Smart. So hours before the program is cancelled. Captain Smart will have none of that. He cancelled the program. He's not going to interview Bongo Hyde Ideas anymore. Bongo Hyde Ideas, I don't know how it was communicated to Bongo Ideas Hyde that the interview is not coming on anymore. Because if I were Bongo Ideas Hyde, I would, when I'm told that the interview is not coming on, anyway. So this is what somebody put down. This then triggered all the gossip that we are talking about. Engineer Samoa says that breaking news. He says Bongo Ideas was scheduled to have an interview with Captain Smart this morning on Onua TV. Obviously, the interview would have been to damage the government on his purported capture by unidentified men. But a couple of hours before the interview, someone sent this, referring to the message we showed you, to Captain Smart, prompting him of how Bongo Ideas had insulted him with his chest out. Captain Smart therefore angrily cancelled the show with Bongo and warned him never to cross his path. Both Captain Smart and Bongo are in pains. Agenda Yamutu. This year's election is going to be very interesting. This 2024 elections is going to be very nice. So, Bongo Ideas Hide sets out from his house to Onia TV, TV3 in Kanda. Bongo Ideas Hide is phoned and told that, hey, Ojam says, don't cross his path, don't cross, you call him emotional noise maker. You call him a non-thinker. You call him unprofessional journalist. And you are coming to say what? If the police are catching you, they should catch you. Who cares? As for Smarty, he is not going to respond because you have insulted him. I am feeling very sorry for Bongo Ideas Hide because I'm wondering how he took the information, how he returned home, how long the journey will be back home. I mean, you're going for an interview. Many people have not heard him speak before. They always read what is written. They have not heard him speak before. This is the first time they're going to hear him speak. Maybe somebody will be impressed with this, maybe. And then you are brought back to something that you yourself produced. At the time you produced, you never knew that this day was going to come. He didn't know that a day was going to come when he was going to need Onia TV's platform for the same person that he's calling unprofessional. He's calling him no thinker. And they say that you should go and learn from Bernard Avle because he's a thinker, he's professional. Captain Smart. Captain Smart says that he's a pace setter. That's what he and Efia Pokua were conversing about. He said he's a pace setter and that Efia Pokua is a dog. Now you are telling Captain Smart, who is a pace setter, he's going to learn from Bernard Avle. Are you mad? So I can imagine how Captain Smart was angry and pumped up. Captain Smart, don't be in pain. This is our work. That's how it is. The same way you do every day. Say somebody is a dog, somebody is Ahwoi, somebody is Kwasia. That's all you say. You don't have anything to say every day. Somebody, no analysis, nothing, no constitutional provision reference, no policy reference, no historical reference. Every day somebody is Ahwoi. Somebody. That's how it is. You see, that's how it is. Now, Ideas Hide to you to learn a lesson from that. You don't always take your computer or your phone and just go vitriol about people like that. It's very bad behavior. Who trained you? Were you raised in Ghana? Who trained you to be doing that? Every day you are insulting people who are role models of the society. You make it a point to just insult role models of the society. Today, you see what has happened to you? When you say that a man is whatever, this is what has happened. So that's how God works, you see. That's how God works. That's how God works. Please get me the montage. No, she got it for me. Let me use to end this part and then we can take a break. They should let you know when they have it. So this is our opening story. He said that Captain Smart is a very unprofessional journalist. Great journalists are thinkers, not emotional noise makers. He should learn from Bernard Avle. That's from where's his photograph? Bongo Ideas Hide. That's him. If you go on the internet and you type Bongo Ideas, you see his name is Nat Albert Hyde something, and so he's also Bongo Ideas, Bongo Albert if you like, or Bongo Nat Hyde. He's the one who is saying that about God's brain smart, and that has created a problem. Are they going to be able to get it? I should have told them. Okay, so later tonight, as we look for it, we're going to be discussing a few things. Let me get. Give me the Kwesi Ahwoi photograph where he's sipping on some beer. And then we set it up. Okay, all our videos are ready now. We are ready to fire. I was just talking Ideas Hide and Nuts and Bongo Ideas so that we can get ready. Okay, put it on a screen. Let people see it. Maybe people haven't seen it. Put it on the screen directly. Let them see it and let's see. Yeah, that's... Hello, Uncle. See, Otsunane. Oh, yeah. No, what's the answer? I can't kakasebia and this food binuma wampe. Our men kasa won I men kasa won you may be kadam kasa ni na abo video ni a church won ase na aka kasa nti mu no bia e betuma no bia chale Uncle Kwesi is just enjoying his beer. Okay, all right. Yes, so it's time for us to roll. This is Good Evening Ghana is live. We're going to deal with the Kwesi Ahwoi. So we have a montage, we have the history, we have Martin Amidu's name in there, we have Idris Harine's name in there, we have everybody's name in there. And we're going to tell you the story. Kwesi Ahwoi, John Mahama, Martin Amidu, Professor Mills. What is the story leading up to this party and leading up to the political faux pas that Kwesi Ahwoi is reported to have committed? He's issued an apology, and we'll go beyond the apology and go also to the rest of the videos where Jenana Opoku-Agyeman actually kind of responded, and that's Fine's expression in Kwesi Ahwoi's apology anyway. And we'll show you a video of Jenana Opoku-Agyeman's expressions and the gestures that Kwesi Ahwoi made in that video, suggesting something. This is Good Evening Ghana. I have to apologize because I need to take a break. 5 minutes, and I'll be back. We'll be on the highway, and you can't wait for that story. You can't wait for the montage. It's going to be very interesting. I'll be right back. This is Good Evening Ghana. It's live.
Yeah, Jamal was in part of Fufona. What in Rahua, a woman Yinkaya Srono Eddie.
A shop. A mountain someone she show. And a put a grown sweet. A yink kayan casa.
Oh, I should be.
The Jamal washing powder for furnace sachets I can see in Numaba. A yink kayan casa.
Animal.
For Jamal washing powder, but 30. Can you mount the Bejawari?
Hey,
New Jamal washing powder. A mania meniti. Nemusi sham. Wokafu a or ma wonta dieniti. FD aje a dreading crowd to yatumu.
We are back, bringing you the latest lineup from Betway. Betway starts strong with their front two, with Free Play Friday and Swipe Bet. In the middle, you've got all the control with Cash Out and Build a Bet. Plus, with Win Boost, you can boost your sports bet. At the back, they have Smart Picks and the Partial Daily Jackpot. You always get way more with Betway.
These adverts have been vetted and approved by the Gaming Commission of Ghana. Bet responsibly. No under 18. Terms and conditions apply. Betway. Get way more.
This is a call to you. The dreamers. The ones that see no boundaries.
Dreamers take a chance.
The explorers that chart their own path.
Along the vast connect the energy.
The ones that dare to challenge the status quo.
Get connected, feel the
When others try to think outside the box, you wonder, what box?
catch the wave, enjoy the ride.
To the architects of their journeys. Every connection is an opportunity to explore every experience. This is your call to adventure. Your journey begins here. Be bold, be daring, be free. Connecting passions, connecting dreams, connecting ambitions. Telecel, connecting energies.
Anti-cavity, gum protection, brighter teeth, and fresh breath.
I'm a fair missy way.
The Pacho Bantama.
Machasi.
That's a cycle.
It's a smile. The fresh breath.
Me, Gidi said we used to Cal 360 toothpaste. Some kind. Cal 360 toothpaste.
That's here. Cal 360 toothpaste. It's a gum protector.
Onim Jom Kasan. Kile Hossein. Cal 360 did the work. It's cool mint. Gives me fresh breath and your confidence booster.
You will see so feeling kika when you know Cal 360 toothpaste.
Happy smile.
Cal 360 toothpaste, anti-cavity, gum protection, brighter teeth, and fresh breath. Cal, happy smile. This advert is FDA approved.
In today's modern world,
Stairs are a challenge, especially for our elderly and those with health concerns. Navigating them can be difficult and even dangerous, but there's a safer way to move vertically. Lifts and Elevators Limited Company, your answer to a more accessible and secure vertical transportation. Our elevators and escalators, including top-of-the-line pneumatic vacuum elevators, Fuji elevators and escalators, offer a safer and more convenient alternative, eliminating the risks of stairs and enhancing accessibility for homes, businesses, and hospitals. Choose safety and convenience with Lifts and Elevators Limited Company. Elevate your spaces today. For more information, visit our website at www.elevatorsgh.org or call now on 0200-535-515. Lifts and Elevators Limited Company, the elevator people.
For over 20 years of serving the world with herbal and alternative medicine, we've been successful in treating complicated medical conditions with a perfect combination of herbal and alternative methods of treatment, like homeopathy, naturopathy, reflexology, and many more. We deliver excellent and effective service to people from all walks of life through scientific and traditional means. We have a well-equipped laboratory with advanced diagnostic and treatment devices to help detect your illness, so we know the right medication to be given. At Amen Scientific Herbal and Alternative Medical Hospital, we are proud manufacturers of our own herbal medication. Our zeal and passion to save lives with our patients at heart and outstanding achievements since 1996 has won us several awards. That is why we say, go herbal, go Amen. We are located everywhere in all the regions. Amen Scientific Herbal and Alternative Medical Hospital. Allahu Shafi, God is the He.
Welcome to Herbal. Yeah, Jamal was in part of Fufona. What in Rahua, a woman Yinkaya Srono Eddie.
Sham. A mountain sound shisho. And a epu a run sui. A yink kayan kasa.
Oh, I still to be.
The Jamal washing powder for furnace sachets are Kessie in Numaba. A yink kayan kasa.
For Jamal washing powder, bottle 30.
New Jamal washing powder. Emanya meniti ne musu ye hwam. Wo hokafo a oma won tade niti. FDA aje edwedien krato yatum.
The other major project that is coming on stream, which is bound to make a dramatic change to the economy, is the Adar Songor Salt Project, being spearheaded by Electrochem Salt Mine Limited, led by the dynamic Ghanaian entrepreneur, Mr. Dan McCaughey, aka McDan. After many years of disputes, which prevented the exploitation of salt at the site, work has finally started, and salt will be mined on a large commercial scale. With its initial ability to produce some 650,000 metric tons of salt per annum, and expanding its productive capacity to 1 million metric tons this year, and to 2 million metric tons by 2027, at 99.9% purity, the Electrical Salt Mine will be the biggest salt-producing facility in the whole of Africa.
Amen.
All right. Okay. Okay, right here. Again, welcome back to the show. I'm laughing because those of you who are watching social media, you saw the video of Nana Agrada, and here in the studio we're talking about it, and everyone seemed to be laughing. Okay, I like to mention that a very good friend of mine Former NDC Deputy Minister Victoria Hama has just texted us and said that she's watching us in the Czech Republic, where she's studying, I believe, for a PhD. Hello, Victoria Hama. Good evening. Keep watching. All right. Let's get some text messages on the Captain Smart matter. It's 8 minutes to the top of the hour at 10 o'clock. And then when we come back, we'll be on the highway for our main story. Who should I start with on the text messages? Should I start with Fatih? Okay, Fatih, what are people saying?
Well, okay, so coming from Elvis Addo, he says Captain Smart is indeed an emotional noisemaker. Ghanaians should know he's not truthful, trustworthy, and full of ego. Media generals should be principled. Also coming from Lily Wells, she says, according to sources, Bongo Ideas is trying to provoke key members in the society so he could seek asylum in the US when those people react, but it won't work because he's a social media bully. And lastly, coming from Lily Wells again, he says, Captain Smart is receiving what he dishes to decent people. What a hypocrite. What do you have for us to answer that?
Okay, so Nana Yao is here from, is saying, Captain Smart is full of drama journalist. We have Inokasante saying, Paul is really enjoying this. And Don Kwesi is saying, it serves Captain Smart right. Antoinette?
How do you see Fusaini says, the young Bongo Ideas has been very irresponsible as a blogger who only exhibit arrogance and insulting people. He writes things about people he would not say about his mother. You should find out the history press and the difficulties that assault they suffered under the PNDC and the NDC continuously for 19 years because of what they used to say. Some even went to jail and others lost their front teeth to the back of the gun. Nanakwesi Edusi Opoku says, Bongo Ideas hide such a funny combination of a name. Atabena says that Dissa has been dissed. Kojo Ahenkwa Jr. says, whatever goes around surely comes around. And lastly, Samuel Ofosuba says, the evil men do lives after them. Angelo.
Okay, Benjamin Cecil Orbin says, Apostle Paul, Bongo Ideas tweeted something after his interview with Captain Smart this morning. I think a screen analysis will justify you on the crass journalism you always talk about. Now, Kofi Asenso says, not even the ECG can stop me from watching this program this evening. Quite interesting, Kwesi. And lastly, Rosamond Anchor says, I love Tuesday evenings because my head is ready to learn and be entertained by your shark team. To you, Paul.
All right, your camera is in front of me so I can see. So this is the catchphrase for our segment right now. Jenana, be prepared. Oh, I was going to ask for the Constitution article. Oh my goodness. I don't know why sometimes all these things escape me. I was going to start with the article. So and so says that when the vice president, so and so, the vice president will take over, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, maybe we can get that for you. So this is it. Jenana, be prepared. That's how we are taking the story. What do we do? Let's begin with the montage that we have created. After the montage, maybe we'll show the montage twice because it's not that long. It's long, small, but you enjoy it, so we'll show you twice. After that, we'll come and tell you the, perhaps we'll show the retraction that Jenana spoke at the same event and tried to do some retraction. We'll show everything to you. Our responsibility here is to be fair, but we are not neutral. We are going to be fair and impartial. So whatever information there is about this, we'll show it to you. Jenana did speak after Kwesi Ahwoi spoke. We'll show it to you. And then we'll show you our montage. And then we'll come and tell you the story, the relationship, the historical storyline, which makes some NDC people quite angry and which makes quite some NDC people also ponder about the whole situation. So without much ado, let me remind the NDC running mate, Nana Jane, be prepared. Here's our small montage.
John Atta Mills, at the age of 68, fell ill and died just a few hours after being admitted at...
Atta Mills was to run again, but his party's ticket will now be taken on by Dramani Mahama.
Be faithful and true to the Republic of Ghana.
John Dramani Mahama is Africa's newest leader. He was sworn in just hours after the announcement of the death of his predecessor, Ghanaian President John Atta Mills.
Nana, be ever prepared, like your motto says. Be ready. Anything can happen, and you can become the President of the Republic.
Okay, so that's our introductory montage. So what's the story? Kwesi Ahwoi here made a big statement in the video we showed you. We will show you the full Kwesi Ahwoi video, and if that's ready, please signal me if that's ready. The full Kwesi Ahwoi video without our montage and the things we put on it, so that you can get the proper context. And that's why we started with the Professor Mills situation. Kwesi Ahwoi said that President Mahama was not prepared when Professor Mills apparently died. So, because of the constitutional arrangement, and that's why I was looking for the constitutional article, when the president dies, the vice president takes over. So, Kwesi Ahwoi is telling Jenana Opoku-Agyeman that be prepared, because what happened in the John Mahama situation when he was vice president could happen again. Let's hear the full tape, the one that found his way on social media on Sunday. Let's hear it.
I was not prepared to be president at that time, but nature skewed things in such a way that President Mills had to give way to John Mahama. Anything can happen. So, Nana, be ever prepared, like your motto says. Be ready. Anything can happen, and you can become the president of the Republic of Ghana. Yeah, Nana. So, I was not prepared to be president at that time, but nature skewed things in such a way that President Mills had to give way to John Mahama. Anything can happen. So, Nana, be ever prepared, like your motto says. Be ready. Anything can happen, and you can become the president of the Republic of Ghana. Yeah.
John Atta Mills, at the age of 68, fell ill and died just a few hours after being admitted at...
Atta Mills was to run again, but his party's ticket will now be taken on by Dramani Mahama.
Be faithful and true to the Republic of Ghana.
John Dramani Mahama is Africa's newest leader. He was sworn in just hours after the announcement of the death of his predecessor, Ghanaian President John Atta Mills.
Nana, be ever prepared, like your motto says. Be ready. Anything can happen, and you can become the president of the Republic of Ghana.
Okay, so now you know the full story. Now let's get into the analysis. Here's President John Dramani Mahama, and they're going to get me Jenana Opoku-Agyeman's photograph as well. It is the constitutional provision is correct. It says that, yeah, thank you, I like this one. Excellent. The constitutional provision is correct. It says that John Dramani Mahama, if he's president, any president in Ghana, if he's either incapacitated, he passes, or for some reason he cannot continue to be president, his running mate becomes the president. And that's why we showed you the video. Those of you who are too young to remember, in 2012, John Dramani Mahama was sworn in on the same day, July 24th, 2012, when Professor Mills unfortunately passed. Now, John Dramani Mahama here is younger than Jenana Opoku-Agyeman. That's perhaps the natural connection of the story. Kwesi Ahwoi is suggesting that if John Mahama were to win 2012, he may not complete his final term. If he doesn't, then if John Mahama were to win in 2024, I should have said, sorry. If John Mahama were to win in 2024, let me just do a sidetrack and tell you. When I said 2012 right now, everybody in the studio is shouting it's 2024. So that's why I was wondering how Captain Smart can come and say sodium something and nobody's correcting him. This moment, just this moment right now, you heard me say, if John Mahama wins in 2012, and then I said, I mean 2024. In between, how I changed my mind is that everybody is shouting here. You can't hear them, but I can hear them. They are telling me, no, you made a mistake. It's not 2012, 24, but you made a mistake. That's even just a slip. How can monumental error, and then all the people in TV3, they are standing there. Okay, producer, cut this one out. That's the part of the story. Let's get back to our story. All right, so John Mahama, if he wins in 2012, Kwesi Ahwoi is suggesting that Jenana should be prepared in case John Mahama passes. That is natural. Anybody can pass. But we're going to go deeper into it. Why would Kwesi Ahwoi make such a suggestion? Why would he do that? And then he's written an apology letter or some technical retraction of sorts. And we're going to deal with it. And you see that there's a real problem in there that we should deal with. This is not about NDC. This is not about MPP. This is looking at our politicians and the way they talk. And what is their motive and all that. How would Kwesi Ahwoi even suggest? What does he know that people may not know? That makes him suggest that President Mahama here, much more than 5 years younger than Professor Jenana Opoku-Agyeman, that he is going to die and Professor Jenana Opoku-Agyeman will become president so that she should be prepared. 9 months to a campaign, a major campaign. 2024 elections is one of the biggest elections in the history of the country. That's a major campaign. You are fighting the incumbent vice president with the former president. It's a major campaign. Jenana has been renominated as the running mate. You're having a party for her. And this is what you say. You don't say how Eastern region is doing, the Central region is doing, the Jenana is going to tackle Central region. We believe that you're going to believe that. And you are saying, you've won the election already. Has the election already been won? Every conversation now is about winning the election. If you're a serious politician. No, the election has not been won by anyone. It hasn't been won by MPP. It hasn't been won by NDC. So all the conversation right now is how do we deliver this election? It's a difficult election for both sides. Some people may feel they are ahead. Some people may feel they have won. But the verdict has not yet been announced by the Electoral Commission. And so nobody has won. Now when nobody has won and we are fighting an election, Kwesi Ahwoi, in his mind, the NDC has already won. So he's telling Jenana that, listen, when you become vice president, the man he could die. So be prepared. Be prepared is one of the biggest political misspeech that I have ever seen in all my coverage of political of politics as a journalist. I've never seen somebody misspoken like that before. Whether it was a slip of tongue, which it couldn't have been, whether it is motive, even if that, how do you talk like this in public? That the president may pass and so be prepared. You see how Mills died? What? Anyway, Jenana responded in a toast. She did. Let's look at the video. Now we're going to do some video analysis here. When you look at the video, we perhaps will play it in slow motion for you to see. Kwesi Ahwoi is standing behind her. And Kwesi Ahwoi makes a gesture when Jenana purports to refute the suggestion that President Mahama may not finish his term. Jenana purports to refute that suggestion. Kwesi Ahwoi makes a gesture. Have a look.
And our prayer is that the tragedy we experienced a couple of years ago is not repeated, of course. Our prayer is that he will complete his 4-year term. And he will complete it with success, with taste, with class, with determination, with honesty, and with respect for the people of Ghana. And we know God will have.
So those who explain body language gestures, do I have a glass here? Okay. Kwesi Ahwoi is holding his glass of champagne, and he says, okay. He says, okay, what does it mean? It could mean, glory be to God. It could mean, well, it's up to you. It could mean, I don't know. But that was Kwesi Ahwoi's response to Jenana trying to correct I think at that time, Kwesi Ahwoi had still not noticed that he had said something very wrong. Because certainly, Jenana's response to the toast did not contain, before the program started, Jenana knew that she was going to respond to a toast. Her preparation for her response to the toast did not contain those words that President Mahama will complete his term. Those words were brought in because of Kwesi Ahwoi's faux pas. Kwesi Ahwoi appeared not to have noticed that he's committed a faux pas. He didn't know. He was enjoying his champagne and gesturing. My goodness. Politician. 2024. Social media. Camera everywhere. A politician is unaware. He's aloof. Oblivious to his surroundings. He doesn't understand what is happening. You are predicting that somebody is going to die. And the person that you are doing it for has noticed that you've said something terrible. And she's trying to correct it because she's desperate to correct it. Even the look on her face was bizarre when Kwesi Ahwoi was speaking. She's trying to correct it, and then you do, I don't care. Have a look at the video again. See it again.
Is that the tragedy we experienced a couple of years ago is not repeated, of course. Our prayer is that he will complete his 4-year term. And he will complete it with success, with taste, with class, with determination, with honesty, and with respect for the people of Ghana. And we know God will have. And our prayer is that the tragedy we experienced a couple of years ago is not repeated, of course. Our prayer is that he will complete his 4-year term. And he will complete it with success, with taste, with class, with determination, with honesty, and with respect for the people of Ghana.
Okay, so yeah, you can explain what it means. And mind you, viewers, when I finish the narration, I'll say it in Twi and Ga like I did last time. I'm doing it because they urged me to do it. So if you don't like it, I can stop. But if you like it, I'll continue. This program is about you. You should determine what you want to see and all that. It's not about us here. It's about you. Okay, so I'm going to do it again. But if you don't like it, let me know that you don't like it. This is Jenana trying to correct the story. Okay, now, sometime after the story broke with all the hula baloos, you can expect communication people to start working, get to work very, very quickly. So Sammy Gyamfi got to work. This is what they put out in favor of Kwesi Ahwoi. Let's have a look at what it is. All right. Sammy Gyamfi put out on his Twitter page, says Kwesi Ahwoi writes. This is what Uncle Kwesi says. He says, I have taken notice of the unfortunate controversy that has arisen as a result of a comment I made at a reception organized last Thursday by the Church Street group of the NDC faithfuls of Professor Jenana Opoku-Agyeman, running mate to our esteemed flag bearer John Dramani Mahama. As the problem starts, the event was organized by a group he calls Church Street Group. I don't know where they got that name from, but I have referred to them that way before. When the Jenana Opoku-Agyeman, if you go back to our Facebook page, 2020, the day that Jenana Opoku-Agyeman was appointed. Viewers can check now. Go back to Good Evening Ghana official. We put up a post that Church Street is supporting Jenana Opoku-Agyeman. That Komnado is this. Then we put up a post again that it appears to us from our sources that Church Street will win the day. Jenana Opoku-Agyeman will be nominated as John Mohammed's running mate. That was the first time in 2020. So that's where Church Street comes. What's Church Street? Church Street is a street in Laboni. Those who don't know, if you live in Accra, you know Laboni Secondary School. So you are approaching Laboni Secondary School from Laboni Junction. You come drive in front of. No, you don't actually get to Laboni Secondary School. Well, Laboni is such that you can go there from anywhere. But the shortest way to go if you are coming from Laboni Junction is to take the SDA 10 on the left, and then you take that 10. You go in front of a restaurant they used to call Hilon. Now they call it Regal, and then you turn right over there, and then you turn right again. That's the street called Church Street. Why is it significant? Church Street is very, very significant to NDC politics because that was where Ahwoi took office when Professor Mills was elected as president and began his presidency. Ahwoi took office from there, and it was commonly said that if you want something to be done under the Mills presidency, forget about the castle, forget about the vice president, go to Church Street. That's where you can get it done. That was the center of power. The centrifugal force that drove the Professor Mills presidency was located at a bungalow at Church Street, occupied by the Ahwoi brothers. Because Kwesi Ahwoi, Kwame Ahwoi, Ato Ahwoi. I've been there before to see Uncle Ato. Other people, the day I got there, I remember Harry Zakor was there. And, Gapoha board chairman is there. Everybody for some people in those days. That is Church Street. So that's what he's saying here. That a Church Street group of the NDC faithfuls organized something for Professor Jenana Opoku-Agyeman. When I get to tell you the story, you will see why Church Street may have tensions with John Dramani Mahama. That's making the matter worse for Kwesi Ahwoi. He didn't have to mention Church Street here because journalists like us are going to analyze it, open it up, and show to viewers what is Church Street. And that Church Street group appears to have tensions with John Mahama, arising out of things that happened at the Mills presidency, connected directly to Martin Amidu, connected directly to Airbus. Tonight, we'll feed you with everything. Everything is coming. All right. So it says it was organized by the Church Street faithfuls for Professor Jenana Opoku-Agyeman, running mate of our esteemed flag bearer, John Dramani Mahama. I sincerely regret the wrong impression that my comment has created. Indeed, it was not my intention, and never will it be my intention, to pray that H.E. John Mahama does not serve his full 4-year term when he wins the 2024 general elections. Okay, it goes on. I concede that I misspoke on the occasion. I accept the criticisms in good faith, even though some of the criticisms arise out of a deliberate misrepresentation of my statement. Now, that's the problem. Why is it that when politicians want to apologize, they don't have the humility to just say that, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm unconditionally sorry, I'm just sorry. What is all this? Even though some criticisms arise out of deliberate, what misrepresentation of this statement can you give? Please, Kwesi Ahwoi should tell us. What misrepresentation? Play the Kwesi Ahwoi video again, just the Kwesi Ahwoi, not the montage, the full one. Hold it, get it ready. Let me ask viewers. Kwesi Ahwoi says that there's been deliberate misrepresentation of this statement you made. You said, Nana, you remember Professor Mills. John Mahama was not prepared. So like your Wesley Girls motto says, be prepared. And be prepared because anything can happen and you will become president. If you isolate it and say that, or if you generalize it, I should say, if you generalize it and say that, Nana, the Constitution says that you take over from the president. So be prepared because anything can happen. That is also bad, but that is general. But here, you began with an analogy of Professor Mills. What happened to Professor Mills? He unfortunately died. And you are saying that John Mahama was not prepared. So you, Nana, be prepared. Your analogy is Professor Mills. So what are you saying? It's a simple mathematical equation. Professor Mills is to John Mahama as president. Jenana Opoku-Agyeman is to John Mahama as vice president. That's all you are saying. And then you come and tell us that there's been misrepresentation of what? Play the video.
To be president at that time. But nature skewed things in such a way that President Mills had to give way to John Mahama. Anything can happen. So, Nana, be ever prepared, like your motto says. Be ready. Anything can happen. And you can become the president of the Republic of Ghana. Yeah. No.
Nature skewed things. Kwesi Ahwoi. He says, nature skewed things. And John Mahama became president. So, Nana, be prepared. What is the context of nature skewing things? Professor Mills unfortunately passed. So, please, Sami Jemfi, cancel this thing. This is your thing. Please cancel it. Even though some criticisms arise out of, nobody is representing Kwesi Ahwoi. Nobody is. He misspoke, completely misspoke. He committed the biggest political faux pas in the history of the Fourth Republic, perhaps in the history of the rest of the policies of the nation. This is the biggest political faux pas. It's unrecoverable just to say, I am sorry, and vanish. It's not recoverable, Kwesi Ahwoi. It's not recoverable. And if you want to recover, don't start with some people have misrepresented. That's a bit of... Okay. Indeed, Professor Jenana Opoku-Agyeman, in response to my toast, pointed out the erroneous impression created by my statement and was categorical in asserting that she was certain that H.E. John Mahama will win 2024 general elections and will serve his full 4-year term. We have seen that video, haven't we? What he didn't say is a gesture that he made. He didn't tell us. That when Professor Jenana Opoku-Agyeman was responding, he gestured. He said, well, okay, it's up to you. Yeah. Well, all right. Everybody can interpret that. He continues. It is unfortunate that my statement appears to have taken the shine off what was otherwise a cheerful and light-hearted occasion. That's certainly sure. A statement has taken it out of it completely. I hereby render an unreserved, unqualified apology to H.E. John Dramani Mahama, Professor Jenana Opoku-Agyeman, the leadership and the rank and file of the great NDC. Comrades and friends, let us put this unfortunate incident behind us and unite behind our flag bearer, the visionary nation builder, to rescue our beloved country in December 2024 elections. Signed, Kwesi Ahwoi, co-signed, Sami Jemfi. Oh my goodness. All right. I'm going to go to the text messages. When I get back, my pen will be with me. I'll go to the touch screen and I'll tell you the story behind the story. Why will a John Mahama supporter be suspicious of Kwesi Ahwoi's statement? Why will Martin Amidu be looking at all of this with different things going through his mind? Uncle Martin, if you are watching, good evening. I salute you. I still owe you a visit. I'll be coming. No problem. We'll talk about Kwesi Ahwoi. We'll talk about him. I'll be coming. Yes, so that's the story I'm going to tell you. Martin Amidu, Professor Mills, Airbus, Kwesi Ahwoi, Idrisu Haruna. These are my subjects tonight. And in going into details, John Dramani Mahama, J.E.A. Mills, Kwesi Ahwoi, Martin Amidu, Idrisu Haruna. I bet you can't wait for that story. Neither can I. Let's get some text messages rolling. It's 19 minutes past the top of the hour. Later on, Al-Hassan Bello is here to tell us the good news from West Africa. And after him, the kebab-thon guy. A guy approaches me by phone call. Reverend Father Patrick is in Tamale. He's a Catholic priest. Good friend of mine. It's called Reverend Father Patrick. Patrick calls me and says, Chief, I have a guy who is doing kebab-thon. You should interview him. I said, anything for you. It's Easter time, so we make obeisance to the Vatican and to the Catholic Church. So Reverend Father, let him come. So the guy is here. He's brought plenty kebab. Says he's going to start a kebab-thon 2-3 days from now for Guinness Book of Records. So I'm going to be interviewing him. He brought us kebab that we can take home for Easter anyway. I don't know how I can share with you viewers. If you're not far from here, maybe if you know Tornado or Mumin or Terry, can call them and get some of their thing. Okay. All right. Text messages. Shall I start from Fatih? Yes.
All right. So this is coming from Umama Kofi, and he says it's increasingly looking like NDC are acting like the next election has been won already. Smacks of overconfidence. Well, we will see what happens. Now coming from Maulimu Saeed Dumai says clearly it is what it is in the head that comes out when there is wine in the head. I'm not surprised Kwesi Ahwoi made that bloody blunder, especially that he had an empty glass in hand. He let out the secret the Ahwois had planned all along, perished the thoughts that GM wins in 2024. Now, Francis says Ahwoi's gesture means let's wait and see whether JDM will complete his term in the unlikely effect that JDM wins the election. Lampari Ken Rashid also says every single member in the NDC feel they have won the election already, but 2024 will clearly shock them. And lastly, coming from Edward Dukbaza, he says what Kwesi Ahwoi said was not good. I don't think these politicians know what they are saying or doing. No doubt Ghana is in a total mess with these politicians. Margaret Kujo says Ghanaian's new president Mills was sick and he died. Has Mahama discussed his health issues with the Ahwois? For Kwesi to say that. Now this is coming from our sponsor Blue Jeans Energy Drink, and it says Blue Jeans Energy Drink has been on the Ghanaian market for over 20 years. We already know what it does for the body. It contains vitamins and nutrients like vitamin B2, B3, B6, B12, as well as taurine and guarana, which are known to boost your strength and energy, as well as promote high performance and endurance. Blue Jeans Energy Drink has been tested and tried. It is indeed the best. Blue Jeans Energy Drink is for bold and active men and women. So go on, grab a cold can and power your day. It's in shop nationwide. For bulk purchases, you can contact Budget Cash and Carry Ltd on 0208 128 190 or 055 001 0000. What do you have for us?
Ali Duyal said, there was nothing wrong with Kwesi Ahwoi's statement. When the heart is full, the mouth speaks. John Bedu says, it's quite unfortunate how many Ghanaian journalists and social media users think insults are the only means to criticize or disagree with others' opinion. Though most politicians are messing up the country, however, the distraction caused by unprofessional, profane journalism is more harmful than a corrupt politician. This may not sound tangible in the ears of many, especially those who are politically blindfolded, but whoever thinks about the future of this country from a sincere heart will see this. Captain Smart shouldn't complain for tasting a bite of his own bullet. He has taught many Ghanaian youth how to use insults to make their grievances heard. He has lamented words which should not have been used on air for many years, and many have learned from him. Papa says, Sammy Jemfi drafted this apology. Lastly, Radford says, he was like, well, I've done my part. Okay, from our sponsor, Amen Alternative Medical Hospital. Amen Alternative Medical Hospital is the first to modernize herbal and homeopathy medicine in Ghana. With our trained and experienced medical practitioners from KNUST, combined with state-of-the-art medical equipment, every hidden ailment will be diagnosed with ease and treatment will be given on time. We offer consultation, counseling, physiotherapy, and homeopathy to treat most ailments. Your life is precious, so secure good health with Amen Alternative Medical Hospital. The working hours are from 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. on Mondays to Saturdays, and from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. on Sundays. You can locate us at Klagon on Lashibi Ashamai Road, near the Underbridge. Book an appointment with us today on 0207 229 505, 0207 229 505, or 0244 227 192, 0244 227 192. Amen Alternative Medical Hospital. God is the healer. Antoinette.
Now, Suleimana Ibrahim says, all are mortals except Allah. Nature made it possible for President Mills to give way to Mahama. Therefore, anything can indeed happen. Master Planner Junior watching us from Kingston Post says, anything can happen indeed. It looks like some people are on a revenge mission. Ghanaians should open their eyes widely. The NDC do not have any good intentions for this country. Yapa PB continues to say that Mahama has hijacked the NDC, and I think they want to get rid of him. Now, Isaac K. Opoku says, looking at how tactical Mr. Ahwoi has been, I'm pretty sure he is up to something. Therefore, John Mahama should be wide awake. And she continues to say, apparently, Mahama has not been well for a while. Anything can happen, remember Prof. Mills. Joseph Opon says, but what he said is true. Mr. Mahama wasn't prepared to lead Ghana. In fact, he was going to quit politics after stepping down as an MP, and Prof brought him back into politics, which is why he messed up like that, because he never fought for it. So therefore, what he said is definitely true. Now, Lily says, Paul, do not say that it was a slip of tongue because he repeated himself over and over again. Lampre King Rashid says, every single member in the NDC feel they have won the election in advance, but I think that 2024 will shock them. Now, lastly, Nana Asari Hillary says, the gesture made by Kwesi Ahwoi meant we live to see. Probably he knows something that Ghanaians do not know. Now get ready for the ultimate Easter shopping experience ever. Join us at This is Ghana Easter Sales Expo happening from March 29th to March 31st, 2024 at the Osu Oxford Street. For as little as 300 Ghana cedis, you can showcase your brand and reach thousands through TV interviews, commercials and more. For more information, contact us on 0244 598 747 or 0548-390-970. Do not miss out. Reserve your spot today and make this Easter unforgettable. Now, the This is Ghana Easter Sales Expo is sponsored by Metro and Original TV, Original 91.9 FM, Blue Jeans Energy Drink, AH Hotel and Conference at East Legon, and Appointed Time Printing. All interested food vendors should contact us now. Now, we have a list of schedule. From 29th March to 30th March, we have musical concerts, original news, and we even have fanfares all awaiting you. Contact us now on 0244 598 747 or 0548 390 970. Angelo.
Ahmed Washos from Tamale says that criminologists say what's in the mind and your thoughts are what are uttered, and he emphasizes this with quite a few exclamation marks. Augustine Amankwa says, he says something quite controversial. He says, fancies want to take revenge. Please, John Dramani Mahama, take care of your friends, the fancies. Osofu Fadama says, hello, GG. What Uncle Kwesi seems to be drinking is a stout. Beer is usually clear and light, while stouts often appear dark and heavy. Well, we've got a beverages connoisseur in the audience. Thank you for the observation. Albert from Accra says, NDC party, alias anything can happen. Very mischievous. Now, Prince Bansa provides Article 66. He says, tell Paul that's the article in the Constitution you're looking for on the Vice President taking over after the President passes or resigns. Now, Prince again says the problem with Kwesi Ahwoi's comments is that it fuels speculation about what might have led to the death of Professor Mills. Ordinarily, the president is a state asset, and when the president dies, like it happened in the case of Professor Mills, the public must know the cause of death. I am not sure where the government has given in to the family not to disclose Professor Mills' death, given that he is a state asset. In any case, between Jane and Mahama, which of the two personalities should the NDC be worried about in terms of age? He continues, if Jane is more than 2 decades older than Mahama, why would anyone even hazard the guess that Mahama could pass before Jane? This raises serious suspicion, and perhaps the state must review its stand to remain mute on the cause of Professor Mills' death. Now, lastly, Abduzati says, good evening from Bolgatanga. Good education as usual. We're really proud being a part of this show. Thank you very much, Abduzati. He continues, however, today's topic is very sensitive and fearful. The woman herself is frightened and confused. Politics is a dirty and devil ground. Now, for Kwesi Ahwoi's comment, who said he has regretted it or it was a tongue slip? He is aware of what he has said, and it was not misrepresentation. The content was very heavy. Now, before I go, do you feel lucky? You should. And on that note, we have something from Betway saying, Charlie, the season is getting hotter, the odds are getting sweeter. Don't be left out in the action. Now, Betway Top-Up is here to assist customers with easier deposit options. Look out for the Top-Up icon at a Momo vendor right near you and deposit cash into your Betway account. Or visit betway.com.gh and click on Top or just call us 055-292-3771 to be a vendor now. Please do note that no charges are applied on deposits. Bet the responsible way, and as always, there is no under 18 betting. Terms and conditions do apply. This is regulated by the Gaming Commission of Ghana. Note that with Betway, you will always get way more. Paul, back to you.
John Atta Mills, at the age of 68, fell ill and died just a few hours after being admitted at...
Atta Mills was to run again, but his party's ticket will now be taken on by Dramani Mahama.
Be faithful and true to the Republic of Ghana.
John Dramani Mahama is Africa's newest leader. He was sworn in just hours after the announcement of the death of his predecessor, Ghanaian President John Atta Mills.
Nana, be ever prepared, like your motto says. Be ready. Anything can happen, and you can become the president of the Republic of Ghana.
John Atta Mills, at the age of 68, fell ill and died just a few hours after being admitted at...
Atta Mills was to run again, but his party's ticket will now be taken on by Dramani Mahama.
Be faithful and true to the Republic of Ghana.
John Dramani Mahama is Africa's newest leader. He was sworn in just hours after the announcement of the death of his predecessor, Ghanaian President John Atta Mills.
Nana, be ever prepared, like your motto says. Be ready. Anything can happen, and you can become the president of the Republic of Ghana.
Let's see Jenana's retraction, that small video. Let's see that one, and then we come to the story. And then we'll do the account version of the story as well. Okay, so let's see that.
And our prayer is that the tragedy we experienced a couple of years ago is not repeated, of course. Our prayer is that he will complete his 4-year term. And he will complete it with success, with taste, with class, with determination, with honesty, and with respect for the people of Ghana. And we know God will have. And our prayer is that the tragedy we experienced a couple of years ago is not repeated, of course. Our prayer is that he will complete his 4-year term. And he will complete it with success, with taste, with class, with determination, with honesty, and with respect for the people of Ghana. And we know God.
All right, so let's get to the story. So we're dealing with 5 gentlemen here. This is John Dramani Mahama, at the time Vice President. Okay. This is J.E. Mills, at the time President. This is Kwesi Ahwoi, at the time Minister of Agric. Oh, why is my thing not coming? Agric. Okay, sorry if it's not clear. This is Martin Amidu, at the time Attorney General. This is Drisu Haruna, at the time Minister of Comms. Okay, so here we go. Professor Mills, President. John Mahama, Vice President. Kwesi Ahwoi, Minister of Agric. And mind you, Minister of Agri is a very high and important portfolio in any presidency. So a president makes somebody Minister of Agri, tells of his relationship with the person. So you know that Professor Mills and the Ahwois are quite close. You know that Kwame Ahwoi wasn't a minister. He had been a minister before under Rawlings. Because Ato Ahwoi, they call him Don King. That was his nickname in those days. Don King is also, he's been minister before, and he was not a minister, but they were really controlling the Mills presidency. You know that already. Okay. And so Kwesi is a great minister. Martin Amidu is Attorney General. Martin Amidu does not start as Attorney General anyway. I believe he starts as Interior Minister, and then the Betty Modidrisu issues occur with the Woyome situation, and then Betty is moved to Education. Idris Haruna had been the youngest NDC person to be a full minister. Most of his Idris Haruna's contemporaries were not made full ministers under the Professor Mills administration. You can remember Elvis Efri Ankara, who is Idris Haruna's sort of mate and contemporary. Elvis was Deputy Minister of Local Government. All of Idris Haruna's contemporaries, most of them, maybe Samuel Ofusampofu, who was Minister for Local Government, but Ofusampofu will be senior to Idris Haruna a little bit, because in 1996, he won the Fantiakwa seat away from Dr. John Soforiata. I remember that clearly. 1996. Ofusampofu, at that time, he was at Accra Poly. He was one of the early pioneers of the HND program, Samuel Ofusampofu, and he used to be at Accra Poly. He was with the group in Accra Poly who used to behave like the Vandals. What are they called? I remember. Yes, so Ofusampofu is slightly senior to Idris Haruna. But then, among Idris Haruna's contemporaries, he was the one who was made a full minister in a very important position as communication. Now, the story is told that during the brouhaha about the Airbus situation, Professor Mills became worried upon an alert by Brigadier Smith, Major General Smith, I believe, or his Lieutenant General Smith. He recently passed. May he rest in peace. Something like that. Professor Mills then asked Martin Amidu to conduct an investigation of the process. Martin Amidu's investigation seems to be pointing to some participation by the Vice President or so, something like that. Okay. I'm not so sure what the relationship between Martin Amidu and the Vice President is anyway. But Martin Amidu is a senior politician to the Vice President, for sure, in terms of NDC politics. He had been Attorney General from 1980-something. John Dramani Mahama was introduced into the government in 1997. Of course, having been a district assembly person, he was introduced as Member of Parliament for Bole Bamboy in the 1996 December elections. By that time, Martin had seen a lot of politics. Martin had also been John Mahama's predecessor on the Professor Mills ticket, hadn't he? Yes, he had been, because he was running mate in 2000. So I don't know whether there's tension between them or not. I'm not sure, but you can see. I will not be surprised if there was tension, given all the scenarios I've given you. And then Idrisu Haruna. When it was said that Martin Amidu was approaching some information against John Dramani Mahama, of course, friends and supporters of John Mahama were suspicious that Martin Amidu himself has a motive to achieve something against John Mahama. I had these conversations around in corridors and living rooms and all of that. Anyway, it is said further that the plan then was that if Martin Amidu were to successfully find against the Vice President will be told to resign. You heard the story that the Vice President resigned before. I should have added Koko Anyidoho to this list. I should have. So keep Koko Anyidoho at the back of your mind. He's the spokesperson of the president at the Jubilee House, at the Osu Castle, I should say. Koko Anyidoho, keep him in mind. He's part of the story. So the story is told that as Martin Amidu is approaching some evidence against John Mahama, John Mahama will be told by Professor Mills that based on the report that he has, he should resign from office on corruption. Find something to resign. Okay. If John Mahama were to resist the advice to resign in those circumstances, parliamentary processes was going to be started against him, an impeachment under the 1992 Constitution. This is the story. Okay. If John Mahama were to agree to resign sometime at the beginning of 2012, if he were to agree to resign, then the office of the Vice President will be vacant. Now here the story continues. It was proposed by the capo, the one who is putting this plan together, or the people who are putting this plan together. It was widely suspected that this whole plan was being drafted at Church Street. Widely suspected. They may come and deny it, but it's okay. I'm just throwing it out there. It was widely suspected that this whole drama and plan was hatched at Church Street. And that's why I didn't like it when Kwesi Ahwoi referred to Church. If I were his PR person, I'll tell him, take Church Street out of this conversation, because this is very sensitive. This whole thing was hatched by Church Street. So the capo at Church Street, as I said, had decided that if John Mahama were to exit, Professor Mills will appoint Kwesi Ahwoi here as the vice president, we are not done yet. So you're going to have two fancies, isn't it? Yeah. Professor Mills was going to appoint Kwesi Ahwoi as vice president. At that time, it was very obvious that Ahwoi was the backbone running the show at the Mills presidency. But by 2012, that was waning away a little bit. People had spoken to Professor Mills from different angles, pastors and all that, and that was changing a little bit. But it was still somewhat there. Not as pronounced as it was in 2012, but not as it was in 2009, 10, 11, but it was still there. Okay. It was also seen that Professor Mills will be able to handle his job as a president of Ghana. That was not problematic because he had staff to work with him. But the suspicion at the first quarter of 2012 for the key decision makers in NDC was, will Professor Mills be able to manage the rough and tumble of the electioneering campaign coming up against Nana Akufo-Addo? That was beginning to worry a lot of NDC people. That will Prof be able to manage this campaign against Akufo-Addo? See what happened in 2008. We're going to rot a campaign again, the rough and tumble of it. Will Professor Mills be able to manage it? Many people were going to make observations about this question and answer in the negative, that this was going to be difficult. In those circumstances, Professor Mills was going to be convinced that he should step down as president in favor of the campaign being run effectively to defeat the MPP again for the NDC second term in 2012. If Professor Mills stepped down as president in those circumstances, who becomes president? Kwesi Ahwoi. Kwesi Ahwoi becomes president. If Professor Mills steps down, Kwesi Ahwoi becomes president. Then Kwesi Ahwoi becomes the NDC ticket holder for the December 2012 election. And how was that going to be difficult? That wasn't going to be difficult. After all, Kwesi Ahwoi's brother, Uncle Ato, controlled the NDC at the time. He controlled the base of the NDC at the time. Nothing was going to change. If Professor Mills were to accept that I'm stepping down as president for Kwesi Ahwoi, it will be smooth. It will be seamless. Then the argument was that the Northerners were going to be concerned. Alhaji Hudu Yahya, John Mahama, all the NDC Northerners were going to be concerned that what is this fancy orchestration against us? You take John Mahama out, then you bring Kwesi Ahwoi, and what's going on? So, to appease them, Kwesi Ahwoi was going to appoint Idrisu Haruna as his running mate for election 2012. So the NDC ticket of election 2012, if this story is true, if it's that Church Street had organized Kwesi Ahwoi number 1, Idrisu Haruna number 2. I am moving the situation forward and give my story credibility. I'm going to give my story credibility. Now listen carefully. This is how you know that this story is credible. All of that doesn't happen here. It doesn't happen. John Mahama becomes president. Okay? And you saw the video on 24th July. He's sworn, he becomes president. He's taking charge. Koko Anyedeho is out. Kicked out. Forever. Get out of here. Still out. Kwesi Ahwoi is a Greek minister. John Mahama keeps all ministers throughout the tenure until December. He becomes president after December on his own account. In January 2013, he's sworn in. Dr. Dufour is out as finance minister. Some people understand that because they think Dr. Dufour has served his term. He's retired from the Bank of Ghana. He served one term. Understandable. One of his deputies, Setekwe, is brought in as minister. Kwesi Ahwoi is a Greek minister. Kwesi Ahwoi is still very young. John Mahama demotes Kwesi Ahwoi. Kwesi Ahwoi suffered a demotion. And this is Ato Ahwoi's brother. He suffers a demotion under the John Mahama presidency. He is dropped from minister to ambassador. Every ambassador is below every minister. That's the protocol. That's the rule. All ambassadors report to the foreign minister. Or, if you like, all ambassadors report to the deputy foreign minister. The deputy foreign minister is the boss of all ambassadors. Kwesi Ahwoi was a senior cabinet minister, agriculture. He is demoted from agriculture minister, no deputy minister, dropped down to ambassador in South Africa. Maybe ambassador in UK or ambassador in America. Those are the top big ambassadorial positions we have. He's not giving either of them. He's taken to South Africa, to Pretoria, to go and relax. That's giving credibility to the story, isn't it? Idrisu Haruna, what happened? The first line of ministerial announcement comes. Idrisu Haruna is not part of it. Listen, go to social media and Google it. Tamales now sees demonstrations, orchestrations, ties are burning. What are they asking for? They want John Mahama to name Idrisu Haruna as minister. Why? Because they've got wind of the fact that John Mahama has no intention, absolutely, to name Idrisu Haruna as minister of nothing. Why? My story, our story, this story is getting some credibility, isn't it? Remember, that's what happened. Idrisu Haruna, when we tried to reach him back in the day, maybe he's forgot. He was out of Ghana. He was in a neighboring country somewhere. And it was believed that from the neighboring country, he was directing affairs in Tamale. Ties were burning. Cars were being turned upside down. The Tamale youth said that until John Mahama makes Haruna Idrisu minister, they will not sleep and they will not give John Mahama rest. Police were in there. After 2.5 days of demonstration, Idrisu Haruna is announced to be the Minister for Trade. Idrisu Haruna wanted to keep his job as communication if he could. John Mahama says, no, you can't have it. That's going to my boy. It's going to Maniboma. It's not going to you. I know what people were thinking about me. You won't get it. Go to trade and fight it out. John Mahama does something else for Idrisu Haruna at trade. The NDC Historical Politics has brought up some friends and foes. And that happens in every political party. They say that in politics, your enemies are in your own party and your opponents are in the other party. So every political party has people in the same party who may be enemies and stuff like that. One of those contenders, you will say in NDC, is Idrisu Haruna and a man called Ni Lante Van der Poel. Idrisu Haruna and Ni Lante Van der Poel historically have had some tensions. How? It started when Ni Lante Van der Poel competed against Idrisu Haruna for the national youth organizer position of the party. Those days, Kufuor was president. J.J. Rawlings at the time supported Ni Lante Van der Poel against Idrisu Haruna. It turned out that Idrisu Haruna had almost lost his life in those circumstances. The event occurred in Wa. Idrisu Haruna was elected as NDC national youth organizer anyway, but he and Ni Lante Van der Poel had some tension. Advisors of John Mahama may have known that, of course. So what did they do? Idrisu Haruna is trade minister. Ni Lante Van der Poel is deputy trade minister. Friends of Idrisu Haruna call him and say, Chief, you're going to be in trouble. Oh. Your guy is deputy. Idrisu Haruna says, I've sorted it out already. He finds a way to sort it out. I know how it was done. It's not something you can see on TV. But he sorts out the relationship between himself and Ni Lante Van der Poel, okay? What happens after that? Idrisu Haruna seems to be coasting quietly at Ministry of Trade. Seems to be doing well at Ministry of Trade. He's setting up Exim Guarantee, turning it into a bank and working on a lot of those things. Then, bam, John Mahama in election 2016 sees that there's going to be difficulty with labor negotiations and all that. It's going to be a very slippery slope. Idrisu Haruna is taken from trade and sent to labor. Go and fight the people election year, you will see. Go and face them. Idrisu Haruna is taken there and he's successful. Ekospi Grabber comes to trade. So this is the story of all of this background. Is the reason why Kwesi Ahwoi of all people should never pronounce something like that against John Mahama. That's the reason. That is what is making it such a huge political faux pas. I don't think, for the little I know about President Mahama, I know about his family, I don't think that Kwesi Ahwoi has been forgiven. Maybe he doesn't know. Kwesi Ahwoi, you can't be forgiven. Don't joke with it. Do not joke with President Mahama. You will not be forgiven. You are telling him that he's going to, after all what you people did, after all what you did when he was vice president, think he doesn't know, he knows. Kwesi Ahwoi, take it from me. You will not be forgiven. Don't joke with it. You will not be forgiven. But for campaign, everybody's going to smile. Let's put ourselves together. But Kwesi Ahwoi, you will not be forgiven by John Mahama. You will not be forgiven. Maybe John Mahama will issue a statement tomorrow and say that I forgive Kwesi Ahwoi. If I were his PR advisor, I also say that. But the truth of the matter is that you will not be forgiven. This is what has happened. Kwesi Ahwoi is the last person to talk about John Mahama and Jenan Opoku-Agyeman in that connection. He's the last. He should never ever talk about it because of the history, because of the tensions. But he managed to say it. Show it again. Show what Kwesi Ahwoi said. We are bringing it to an end. So show it again.
Was not prepared to be president at that time, but nature skewed things in such a way that President Mills had to give way to John Mahama. Anything can happen. So, Nana, be ever prepared, like your motto says. Be ready. Anything can happen, and you can become the president of the Republic of Ghana. Yeah, Nana. So, was not prepared to be president at that time, but nature skewed things in such a way that President Mills had to give way to John Mahama. Anything can happen. So, Nana, be ever prepared, like your motto says. Be ready. Anything can happen, and you can become the President of the Republic of Ghana. Yeah, So,
and our prayer is that the tragedy we experienced a couple of years ago is not repeated, of course. Our prayer is that he will complete his 4-year term, and he will complete it with success, with taste, with class, with determination, with honesty, and with respect for the people of Ghana. And we know God will have.
John Atta Mills, at the age of 68, fell ill and died just a few hours after being admitted at...
Atta Mills was to run again, but his party's ticket will now be taken on by Dramani Mahama.
Be faithful and true to the Republic of Ghana.
John Dramani Mahama is Africa's newest leader. He was sworn in just hours after the announcement of the death of his predecessor, Ghanaian President John Atta Mills.
Nana, be ever prepared, like your motto says. Be ready. Anything can happen, and you can become the President of the Republic of Ghana.
Okay, we're going up to 11:15 tonight, and this is the final one. After this, we'll take a break and we'll do the account one. And this is what I wanted to share with you at the conclusion of it. What does it say in Matthew chapter 12, verse 34? Out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth will always speak. Kwesi Ahwoi. Out of the abundance. This is in Matthew chapter 12, verse 34. In the Christian Holy Bible, as we get into Easter, let me do the sign of the cross. We all know that Easter is coming and it's a time for sober reflection on the death of the Lord Jesus. So I'm reminding you, say, Matthew chapter 12, verse 34. Out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaketh. All right, let's get a short break. When we come back, I'll do all of that in Twi and Ga. Let's hope that it goes well. If you like it, we'll do it again. It's a commercial break time on Good Evening Ghana. It's now 6 minutes at top of the hour at 11. We'll go up to 10 past 11 because Alhassan Bello will give us a 5-minute report. And then our kebab-thon guy is also here. He's going to put the kebab. We're going to be setting up for him as we take the break right now. We'll be right back in 5 minutes.
In today's modern world, stairs are a challenge, especially for our elderly and those with health concerns. Navigating them can be difficult and even dangerous, but there's a safer way to move vertically. Lifts and Elevators Limited Company, your answer to a more accessible and secure vertical transportation. Our elevators and escalators, including top-of-the-line pneumatic vacuum elevators, Fuji elevators and escalators, offer a safer and more convenient alternative, eliminating the risks of stairs and enhancing accessibility for homes, businesses, and hospitals. Choose safety and convenience with Lifts and Elevators Limited Company. Elevate your spaces today. For more information, visit our website at www.elevatorsgh.org or call now on 0200-535-515. Lifts and Elevators Limited Company, the elevator people.
Just like how water refreshes you on a hot sunny day, it takes a refreshing bath with Alive soap to feel its pleasant fragrances.
The soap I want and need at the end of every day.
Be leaving you with soft, smooth, and fresh-looking skin.
You make me feel alive, you really brighten my day, my day.
Available in lemon, coconut, rose, and aloe vera fragrance. Alive soap. Feel fresh, feel alive.
We are back, bringing you the latest lineup from Betway. Betway starts strong with their front two, with Free Play Friday and Swipe Bet. In the middle, you've got all the control with Cash Out and Build a Bet. Plus, with Win Boost, you can boost your sports bet. At the back, they have Smart Picks and the Partial Daily Jackpot.
You always get way more with Betway.
This advert has been vetted and approved by the Gaming Commission of Ghana. Bet responsibly. No under 18. Terms and conditions apply. Betway. Get way more.
Customer. Nadavena minka me papa. Me 10 Ghana. 10 Ghana. 10 Ghana cities.
No dia, send now benya.
10 Ghana cities no. Me dia. 54,000 Ghana cities.
54,000.
540 million.
Yeah, the one on the camera die skase.
Yeah. And then I giga ade tena we. Tena wa boki. Draw no na asase no we. Mami me volume. Customer. What?
One of our daily lucky winners. Dial *946# to play now. Or you can also play online at www.gamepackgames.com. Game Park is regulated by the National Lottery Authority. We are back, bringing you the latest lineup from Betway. Betway starts strong with their front two, with Free Play Friday and Swipe Bet. In the middle, you've got all the control with Cash Out and Build a Bet. Plus, with Win Boost, you can boost your sports bet. At the back, they have Smart Picks and the Partial Daily Jackpot.
You always get way more with Betway.
This advert has been vetted and approved by the Gaming Commission of Ghana. Bet responsibly. No under 18. Terms and conditions apply. Betway. Get way more.
The countdown is on. Get ready for another awesome encounter at Harvest Praise 2024, the Anapao edition. Join friends and family to praise and worship with anointed ministers Alvin Slaughter, Phil Thompson, Harvest Gospel Choir, and the Harvest Theatre. Harvest Praise is on Good Friday, 29th March 2024 at the First Love Center near Trinity Seminary, Legon. Time 4 p.m. sharp. Dial *725*1155# on all networks and buy your tickets now. Single 80 Ghana cedis, double 140 Ghana cedis, and VIP 150 Ghana cedis. Tickets are also available at Bachelor Total, Sunny FM, and all Harvest Chapel branches in Accra. Come find rest as you praise your burdens away. Harvest Praise, get your praise on.
Okay, so let's get a montage and let's do it quickly in 5 minutes. Here and Ghana, then we'll move on. Here's a montage. Yo, Anyamime. Minister neighbor. Last week I'm a sitting with Laboni. Ninate what I can say Ahwoi. Ke Vice President Jena no pokwa jimanake. Sanifi krado. Ejake politics no ku fe ko banya happy. Sanifi krado. Ni what I can say Ahwoi Ekai Jena no pokwa jima ake. Okai obeko ne huwe. What Professor Mills. No me President Jile ni Sanekuba ni Jamie. Iwo ni Jamie a Vice President John Mahama no me efeko ready ni botemi. Iwo ekela ke femo krado. Oshike na afon John Mahama bana. Nike na femo krado wa eja ke numu e banye Jamie. Na kan kwesi Ahwoi ke Sunday ni video ejeko. Me na video ameke ni chakwa kwesi Ahwoi mi na echo ni John Mahama be mene a Vice President Professor Edra fe John Mahama e wo ko ba ke mo ko ba gbo e mo ne 70 no ko ke mo ne 60 no ko e no ke 70 no ko ake le fe krado ko ni 60 ba Jamie no mo e ba Jamie ni ke no mo e Jamie e le ba yi president e wo e fe ready e fe krado na kai kwesi Ahwoi ake ne awi e sane e baba o agbe na ni na agbe e kwesi Ahwoi ba ma statement adena ni bi ne we me mommy na menchakele ji na kan echon si le elake Professor Mills ba wini John Mahama ba na election ni jena na baba na agbe na ye ni ne party je jena na na come ke we ake oh dabi ni bi ni what kwen we je na kan si John Mahama ba na na ke na ho e ba passion e ba yi power for 4 years noko ba that kind je na we no me to ni correct isa no ni what kwen awe no na check ya hi kra e wono jisane ani ogbala me hu gbeke me good evening Ghana oh you don give me the montage again and we do the account and then we are off. Give me the montage again. Oh, montage. They did program. E dey asem ni aka enwume etiefo ya kan bre ada no mo koye nhyiemu na ofakosi Ahwoi ko bi na no aka nsema okan na enya kra enye ye chese o che jina no poko agemanse onya ahoboa ntena ho pa na asem eba be si December no aba na yebeto no John Mahama be win na John Mahama nya wini pe onya ahoboa efisa asem to Professor Mills no ebi betimi ato John Mahama ama ono aba abedi ama ono gina be president na ekoye election busumi be say na aka busumi watchi also aka busumi election say December 7th ye ka election pa preparation time there say politician be adwin who say end of November because by 30th November na aka 7 days into just 7 days now the baby bia into say no calculate election ye na aka busumi watchi na aka busumi watchi ekoto aba to emu nsem bebre abato mbe di pa ni ye hwese de besi ato aba ye betime nya vote betime wini aba na oti wo se ye wini na obi ka baabi a ye wini a ebia na obi akoka baabi nti hwe hu yi na oka baabi a na wa be hyem na sa na mra ne te de nde no kre sa na mra ne te o mampanyi ka baabi a na be de echi na be gina ho na wo ka se ye party ama abade echi na asema wo ka hye ni abato na aka bosomi wotu ya koto na ye nim se benya o se enya we nyina ye pre aba no undwin abato no abapre no ho ene nyama ese ye na yetimi di win election no uti ho se ye nya win election ni wi a ne se yekwekwa aban mu a president no obetimi aka ba bi se dia Professor Mills ka ba bi ti je na gina ho yie siesie wo ho sa na okashire no siesie wo ho na time no so a wetin agine because senior sika no bibia betimi asi ama woji na wa be president aden no bi be kasa aka bosumo ochede ne achechire mu anwume ya kan poto kasa mu anya see church mu twi mu ne nkan and the area let's take text messages now as we welcome Al Hassan Bello on the story about Niger. Okay, Fatih will give us our first message. Fatih, what are people saying?
All right, so Julius Amako says the best political show in Ghana is Good Evening Ghana, and it's very educative. Abdul Salam Muhammad says this is brilliant. The Chi and Gas session is fantastic. Lily Rose also seems to love it. She says, Paul, you are amazing to do Chi and Ghana version of Good Evening Ghana. Keep raising the bar. Now, Joseph Amisa says, true. I remember the incident of ties buying in Tamale. And Lily Rose says, Paul, the NDC supporters in the north have forgotten all this. Paul, you are superb. You don't have short memories. What do you have for us?
All right. So John B. Campbell says, Chienga, wow, great, loving it. Aziz says, I think Uncle Paul deserves a pay raise. From Lily Wales, Paul, that was not a slip of tongue because he repeated himself over and over. Lastly, from Berry Malpari, wow, very educative program. Antoinette, what do you have?
Nuruddin says, good evening, Apostle Paul and the team. Please next week try and speak Hausa for us. Thank you and have a good night. Alhaji Yusuf Husseini has gone back to the Uncle Chrissy Ahwoi's story. He said the Ahwois have really wrapped it on the faces of the NDC and JM for a long time because they betrayed Rawlings to get those claws. Chrissy Ahwoi knew exactly what he was saying. They know what we all don't know. Otherwise, he wouldn't be this bold and sure. Bernard Arthur says, Paul, Prof. Nana's response goes to suggest that indeed Mahama could really be ill, but she is praying that he completes his 4-year term in the unlikely event that he wins the 2024 elections. Lastly, Mahama Ibrahim says, why would you force an innocent man to render an apology? Worse things are yet to come. Anything can indeed happen. The same nature schemed Mr. Arthur in favor of GDM, so it can actually happen. Angelo.
Paul and Oheneba get into a bit of a historical exchange. Arthur starts by saying everything that has happened in the NDC, even worse things have happened in the NPP. Water under the bridge. This shouldn't take anybody's time or attention. To this, Oheneba Kweku responds saying, what's worse? The killings of the innocent business owners, sharing state properties in the name of diversification, killing innocent judges, soldiers, and burning of markets in the name of losing elections. The bloodshed of the NDC is unprecedented in Africa. I've got a long message from Abdul. I'll read a portion of it. He says, good evening, Paul and the entire team. I'm deeply troubled by the recent trend in Ghanaian politics where ageist remarks are made about political leaders, particularly regarding their age and proximity to death. It's disheartening to witness such discourse, especially in a country with a predominantly youthful population. I urge for a shift in the political landscape towards inclusivity and meritocracy, where individuals are judged based on their qualifications, capabilities, and vision for the country rather than on their age. It's imperative that we create pathways for young people to engage meaningfully in politics and decision-making processes to ensure a more vibrant and representative democracy. Today's show is indeed massive. Thank you. And Paul, people want you to add Moshi to the languages, the presentations you're doing. Back to you. The kebab is getting my nose a bit, so I can't continue reading.
All right. Al Hassan Bello has joined us. Senegal has 2 first ladies, by the way. Is that correct? Yeah. How is the constitution going to manage that? Even though first lady is not mentioned in Ghana's constitution, but how is their constitution dealing with 2 first ladies?
Well, as a Muslim majority country, I don't know how it will go, but then it's part of the lifestyle over there. So.
Are they Muslims?
Yeah, Senegal is about 90% Muslim.
So his double wife because he's Muslim. Yeah. Then he could go to 4.
Sure.
Another double.
Yeah.
And there'll be 4 first ladies. No. For now, there are 2.
Yeah.
But they were holding hands and they came onto the stage. I saw it.
Yeah, it's part of, I think, Islamically, polygamous regime must always be equity and fairness. So that's what he's trying to establish.
I see. Fairness among the women from the man.
Yeah. Justice, fairness, and equity is very important.
Okay, tell us. So how old is he? That's the big story.
44.
44-year-old president of. But that should not be such a big shock. Barack Obama was 47 when he led America. Kwame Nkrumah was 47 at the time of Ghana's independence. John Kennedy, I believe, was 44 when he led America in 1960. So, it's cool.
But in this case, he was a long shot because his mentor was supposed to contest. That's Sonko. But Sonko was disqualified on technicalities. And then prior to that, he and Sonko were languishing in jail barely weeks before the election itself. Until the Supreme Court squashed the decision of SAR to, extend his stay in office. Then I think we had a talk on that and looked at the implication. But then it's equally very important because it's a break from the past, whereby most of the leaders of the country have always been part of the, for lack of a better word, the Francophile, elites. You see, one thing about assimilation in West Africa, it failed woefully.
The assimilation policy, you believe it failed? What was it intended to achieve that it failed?
It's supposed to to convert the African into a Frenchman.
But it did. Houphouët-Boigny is a Frenchman. It did. If you were just a minute, they are fixing Bello's mic properly so you can hear him well. So just keep an eye on the television. The new Senegalese president's photograph is on and he's enjoying himself, enjoying the cheers. Just a minute, they'll finish fixing the mic and then we'll get back into the studio so you can hear Bello's analysis. He started by suggesting that the policy of assimilation failed woefully. I was challenging him on the fact that assimilation didn't fail because assimilation was able to produce a lot of French Africans like Houphouët-Boigny, like Alassane Ouattara, like Blaise Compaoré. Yes, are we back? Yes, we're back. So you were making the point that assimilation did fail.
Assimilation failed in the sense that it created two classes. The few elites at the top who have been westernized and black Francophile as against the majority.
But that assimilation didn't want the majority. It wanted the elites at the top for control of policy.
And that is what we are seeing the consequence. If you go back, you realize that in places like Mali, Niger, and Burkina Faso, they kicked the French out through the barrel of the gun. But this is the first time it's not happening in the new millennium through the ballot box because Sonko's rhetoric. It
won't be the first. Gbagbo will be the first. No, where the people of a West African French colony voted against what they perceived to be the candidate of the French. Laurent Gbagbo in Cote d'Ivoire would have been the first.
I think rhetorically, Sonko was more open in his critique of the French system than.
But I'm just saying it's not the first. Yes, Sonko is an example, but Gbagbo was massive against the French. Gbagbo tried to deconstruct the bank and give Ivory Coast the central bank. That's the beginning of his problem with the French.
And that tells you that the majority were never Francophile. They never wanted to be French.
The policy of assimilation is not for majority. The policy of assimilation is for a tiny minority to be assimilated to French people.
Senegal has no importance when it comes to it. Remember Dakar, Gori, St. Louis, and Rufik.
No, I don't know that. Which one is that?
Anybody born in these communes at the time of the colonial is automatically a French citizen.
Yes.
And now, in the heart of that same arrangement, is a big revolt against France.
No, I don't mind the revolt against France, but I'm just saying that the policy of assimilation was not intended for the majority. It's just a few people and they got it. So as from the French perspective, the policy was successful. You can say that it didn't benefit the African countries. It made them worse. Yes, you can say that. But from the French perspective, it was super successful. They are colonialists and they wanted to get a few to get access to property.
So now we have a situation where will the resistance against the French be on the tangent of the Malians who are going through the military coup d'etat, kicking the French out? Or it will be peacefully through the ballot box that is happening in Senegal now? And now, I think...
But you suppose the election of... what's his name again?
Faye.
Election of Faye will deconstruct French influence on Senegal. Don't. Get serious. That's not going to happen.
Well,
that's not going to
happen. It may not be as quick as the Senegalese...
To start with, they don't have a central bank. So, right there... they're out. It's going to take a long time.
Is there no law forbidding them from creating a central bank?
So when they start to create a central bank, then the bottlenecks always occur. Why we have not been able to achieve the eco, why we have not been able to achieve all the things we want to achieve with Francophone, is that problem. It's an intractable, difficult way to undo it.
But I think if you look at ECO, it is multinational. So, but if you look at the case of Senegal, they decide to go on their own national economy. Mind you, at a certain point in time, we're spending the West African pounds, but the English countries broke away and had independent currencies. So it's not as if it hasn't been tried in this part of the world.
English policy was association.
What I'm saying is
so they don't, because they are not doing assimilation. So for instance, there was no telecommunications intercom between the Ghanaian castle and number 10 Downing Street, but there is an intercom from the Elysee Palace to the Ivory Coast President's office. That's assimilation.
So the break may not be as rapid as the people will expect, but there's definitely going to be a break.
Okay.
If not,
let's see what happens. Reset of mind.
Of arrangement.
But why is their relationship with France negative? Why is it negative? Could be possible.
What benefit do they what is the benefit that they have to pay?
They pay what?
The so-called benefit.
Oh, that so-called payment, which they are all still paying. Yeah. Oh, that can be taken away. But if that's taken away, it doesn't end the French influence.
The benefit of that?
No, fair enough. Are you saying if that's taken away, then the French influence is gone?
Well, I think for me, it's bigger than
are we still having mic problems? Okay. Sorry.
The problem is bigger than that. But then these are some of the layers of it. But when we begin to go into the level of investment that the French multinationals have in Senegal, then that becomes where we begin to look at what will be the arrangement, to what extent. But then, I don't expect him to embark on the tangent that Sekou Touré once did, which was very hasty and quite, significant. We saw the consequences. But then I think France would have to understand that the game of the past is long over. The younger generation of Africans will not accept to be subservient. And secondly,
you will not accept to subservient if you have money to take care of yourself. You can't just shout revolutionary slogans and come and tell them that they should give you money. They control your central bank, they control your petroleum, ELF controls the petroleum. This is the same conversation of the 1940s. This is the argument. This is what Dr. Dankwa was saying. Forget about independence. Control your economy. Take cocoa. Don't do independence. It's rhetoric. So you can do all the rhetoric you want, he says, in electing me, the Senegalese people. It's all fine. But you don't have petrol tomorrow morning. You are going to rely on ELF. It's a French company. They are going to buy petrol from Saudi Arabia, refine it, and come and sell it to people on the street. And you say they should go away? Look at what happened to Idi Amin in Uganda. If you look at the account, he drove away all the Indian and all those people, which may have been correct. What happened to Uganda? They've not recovered till today. So the way for the African youth to understand it is to develop skill and hold money. Then at that stage, like China has been able to do, tell the America, tell the Britain, this is where to go. But in these circumstances, Senegal tomorrow, they are going to look for 2 billion. After COVID, they are broke.
No, but the issue is that these arguments cannot tell us perpetuate this whole arrangement where we think we have to go to them.
No, there are examples of people who have gone out of it. There's the example of the BRICS. Brazil, Russia, India, and China. They were able to... Brazil was colonized by Portugal. They are richer than Portugal today. So it's possible. But the way it's possible is not by rhetoric.
It boils down to the kind of contract you sign. If you sign a contract where you get less than 5% of your own resource and the foreigner comes to pack 90%, what is the benefit of it? You will rather leave it lying in the ground. It's of no use. So we need to look at...
But if you leave it lying in the ground, you die.
It's far better than me.
Oh, it's better to die?
It's better to... Sekou Touré once said, we prefer independence in danger than servitude in tranquility.
And Nkrumah said it too. Yeah, but this is dying. This is not danger. It's dying.
The Asian tigers we talk about, defy the status quo. They didn't conform.
Precisely, but the way they defy the status quo was economics. It's not a political rhetoric. What did Malaysia do? Malaysia decided to research into palm oil. Came to Ghana to pick palm oil. Suddenly they became global #1 producer of palm oil. It gives them leverage. That's the point I'm making. It's an economic conversation for young people. It's not rhetoric.
Now I'm saying that let's give them the chance to see what they go. We may not expect.
Well, if they are doing rhetoric, then they are in trouble. But if they are really going down and fixing things, I just saw a video about Benin, and some wonderful things are happening there. They are independent presidential candidate who won the election. Yes,
Talon.
Yes. Wonderful things are happening in Benin. It's not rhetoric. You see, nobody has even heard about Benin. But go there. They are taking control of their cotton. They are developing cotton engineers. They are the world's largest producer of cotton. They are taking control of it. They are quiet. When they finish taking control of it, they will now come and do the rhetoric. But here we are as young people, from the days of Che Guevara, from the days of Nkrumah, from the days of Bembela, we are rhetoricing. And we are third world, and we are not getting better.
No, we need to look at, practically speaking, the first generation didn't just move rhetorically. They backed West with action. We saw investment in industries and the rest. The question is, when they were overthrown, those who came, what they do with the industries? You may dislike the person, but should you allow the industry to
I agree with you, should you allow? But then the industries were run down by the time they were overthrown. That is the reason why they were overthrown. Because the economics was not working. That's why they were overthrown.
So it boils down to two things. One, the ideas they are bringing on board, and then how they interact with the world. The problem of Africa is that the more proficient you become in Western languages, the less logical we are. Because if you look at treaties that were signed by African chiefs pre-colonial days, they negotiated from the point of equality, absolute confidence.
Like the bond of 1844?
There's no way even in that bond that said the British was supposed to colonize Ghana. They wouldn't have ascended to it.
No, it was. The bond of 1844, if you read it, had many major issues.
They were supposed to align.
They asked us to stop many
some
things.
of the laws. But it was
no, they said we should stop killing people, that is backward.
But they didn't.
They created crimes for our society.
But the Fantis didn't accept to be under British control, political authority. That was out
the bond of 1844 and the early treaties were not about political, it was economic.
It
was after the white man, the visitor, or if you like the intruder, or if you like the aggressor.
Yeah.
It was after the aggressor won the economic war that he imposed colonialism. He didn't start with colonialism. He started as equals. But he won the economic war, and then he said, now you're going to be under me.
But even with that, there was resistance. Because if you remember, the whole issue of Ethiopian-Italian war was because the treaty they signed, the Treaty of Ikala also, was in 2 different languages. In Amharic version, Menelik didn't surrender his country to Italian control. In the Italian version, the Italians wrote that he was supposed to be their colony. And when he saw the difference, he refused. And they came with them and he dealt with them. But you see, the more we become westernized, the more we want to toe their line. I'm not anti-Western, but I won't support.
But you can't. The statement you make is not supported. That the more you become westernized, the more.
But if you look
what
at
happened to Nelson Mandela?
If you look at the kind of arrangement, the kind of agreement we signed today with our resource control and the likes, I mean, I don't see anything beneficial in it. If I will get,
agree with you.
If I will get 10% of what I have, and somebody who's supposed to know better want to negotiate that kind of agreement, I mean, I
yes,
wouldn't.
It's always easy to say that the agreements are not good. I agree with you. But agreements are signed based on your strength and my strength. We don't go to the agreement as equals. The reason why we are not equals is that we are not equals economically. Okay, so you have gold. You're Ghana. You have a lot of gold. No problem. You have gold. You don't know how to mine the gold. You have not created an engineering skill to mine the gold. The gold is going to be on the ground. You are hungry. Somebody comes and says, this gold that is for you, I'm going to give you X amount of money. It's a lot of money he gives you, maybe $100 million. But the point you are making, which is correct, that $100 million is only 2% of the gold under the ground. Okay, so you have to make a decision that I will not let you mine this gold. China is helping us a little bit. China is coming in to be an alternative. So now the African can tell the European or the American that I want to work with China. That's happening all over the place. So it is China in developing their skill and in liberating themselves economically from the West. That is helping Africa. Africa will need to now begin to build its own skill on all of the matters: telecoms, engineering, medicine, policy, politics. Build the capacity. When you are economically strong, then you can go to the negotiating table, like Brazil, like India. What did India do? India won the war on technology. They became one of the world's important destinations for IT. Yeah. That's what changed. It's not the rhetoric. It's not the talking. It's not Che Guevara and Choboy and we're not going to sit down with the cheaters every day. It doesn't mean anything.
Then let's take a glimpse of the Middle East.
Yes.
We know the state of the Sheikh Zone before they discovered the oil.
Even Turkey, not Turkey.
Why were they able to negotiate better deals and make so much out of the oil? They negotiated well. They didn't just go because I'm weak.
Who are you talking about? Saudi Arabia?
From Saudi Arabia to Qatar, we can look at how they negotiated. They benefit from their resources. Meaning they negotiated with some sense of like urgency, some sense of knowing what they want. But we just go
Saudi Arabia is only rich in the royalty. The rest of Saudi Arabia is not rich.
Saudi economy is far better than most African countries combined.
Fair enough. But if you look at the size of Saudi's oil, they've been global world producers of petroleum for the rest of their lives. Saudi Arabia is rich in royalty. Emirates are rich in royalty. The rest of the country is not like America. It's not like UK. It's not like Germany. It's different. Infrastructure development is somewhere. It's not everywhere. You go to Dubai, wake up early in the morning and cross the road. You will see the real Dubai people. They are in bus. They are like me and you. They are going to work. But the other Dubai is there. And who is owning the other Dubai? You will go and find many American companies. You will find many British companies. That's what you're going to find.
Of course, they do business with them.
Yeah, so if you're talking about a developed society, you can talk about India. You can talk about Brazil. But the Arab side is not really a good
But if you look at how they negotiated their deals, to be what they've been able to accrue, as compared to what we negotiate, it means we are negotiating on the losing side. We don't negotiate well.
I don't understand what you're saying. But they are negotiating for only a few people.
I don't know, the money comes into the country. As to whether
it's for the Emirates.
As to whether there's corruption or not is another issue.
I'm not even talking about corruption. I'm talking about who is doing well in Saudi Arabia, so that it's an example.
What I'm saying is
national infrastructure development. I think even Libya under Gaddafi may have had better infrastructure across board than many of these countries that you're mentioning.
So long as so far as they're able to even accrue what they accrued as royals, it tells you they're able to get so much. But we don't even get much in the first place because our agreement don't even favor us sometimes. So let's look at the kind of deal they will sign.
The new deals they're going to sign. Okay.
The kind of
I pledge to govern with humility and transparency. That's very good. And to fight corruption at all levels. I pledge to devote myself fully to rebuilding our institutions. Perfect. Now, how long is he going to be in power? First time is what, by their constitution? 4 or 5 years?
5 years. It used to be 7 years, and then it was reduced to 5 years.
So first time is 5 years?
It's 5 years, 2 terms.
5 years, okay. It's not like Liberia, where first time is 6 years, second time is 4 years. Okay.
And then with the institution, I think it's very important because he saw they suffered from the lack of institution in Senegal that was eroded by the push to extend the powers. And then these are the candidates. So it was basically a competition between Sall and Sonko. And both of them were contesting through their surrogates. Sall was contesting through his prime minister,
Amadou Ba, who's 62.
Yeah. And then Sonko went to the race through Faye.
To
the current winner.
43.
Yeah, the current winner. And then these were other candidates, and these were only I think there's a long list of candidates, but these are some of the.
The lady got something. 40-year-old lady. Yeah. So she was running for president in Senegal.
Yeah. So
wow.
These were the leading.
Is she a Muslim woman? That would be interesting.
Yeah.
Oh, that's very interesting. Then very, very interesting. Did she get something at all? 1%, 2%?
I think I should.
They should make her a minister.
A lady. You know, they have this semi-presidential system, so we don't know what will be the outcome of the parliamentary election and how.
Okay.
They have the French system.
Yeah, okay. I hope she gets something.
Yeah. And then second thing we need to look at now, what will be the decision of the courts in relation to his political party?
Why?
Prior to election, the party was dissolved. I think it was dissolved somewhere. Okay. Yeah. The party was dissolved. No. Somewhere. Yeah. 2023, July.
Okay.
So now that he has.
But he ran as an independent candidate?
No, he ran on a different political alliance.
Okay, but they had members of parliament?
Yeah, I think they had 56 members sitting.
So they can go through a process and bring his party back.
So we now look at how would the judiciary balance the fact that they felt that the judiciary was equally complicit in terms of allowing Sall to have even jailed them in the first place. And if you look at the...
But what will they do about that? I don't understand your prognosis. What are they going to do about that? You went to jail, you come out of jail, you want
but if you look at the charges that were used to disqualify Sonko, the first charge that was stable was rape. But they couldn't even find him guilty of rape, so they had to use corrupting the youth. So the question, what do you define as corrupting the youth?
So what's the point?
So the point I'm saying here is that, okay, beyond the fact that he has won the election, the fact that he wants to rebuild the institution is very important because they themselves were victims of lack of institutionalism at the time.
Okay. But what is going to do is to review the laws for Sonko to come out?
What would be the relationship between he coming into office and the judiciary that was part of?
But can he sack them? Does the constitution allow president to sack judges?
Even if he doesn't sack them, see, you can't have hostile relationship between two institutions.
But what will happen? You can't sack them.
It could delay legislation. It could delay governance.
But that is for him because it is his government that must move fast. So if he's going to antagonize the judiciary and it will delay his legislation, that's his matter.
Fine, but then if he also has the new grounds to go against them, he could go against them.
How is he going to go against them? That's what I'm saying. Does the constitution allow the president to dismiss judges? If it doesn't, then if the constitution is like ours, so you become president. The 11 Supreme Court judges, you think you are hostile to them. So what will you do?
But even in our constitution, there are procedures on which you can
impeach a judge. Yeah, but that's a major thing. You don't impeach a judge because of a decision you took in court.
So that's what I'm saying, that if the decision is hostile, like Sall has just shown, Sall has shown that you can have your way. Because if Sall was able to use the judiciary to silence them, it means as at now in Senegal, you can still have your way.
Yeah, but you can't remove the judge. You have to bring an application for impeachment. It's a complicated... I don't know what their constitution is, but if it's the Ghana constitution, and you become president and you think, when Professor Mills became president, there was pressure on him to remove the CJ, Georgina Wood. He was unable to. You can't do it. How are you going to do it? You have to have a basis to say that this is an impeachment charge. The constitution outlines the kind of charges, misbehavior, You have to find
Do we really have to find a genuine basis? We've seen instances where leaders wanted to just take people out. They create pretexts. So I'm saying that in that case, if there's hostile decision between these two factions, how will it work? Would there be a need of pretext?
Well, I mean, if you are the president, I think you want to hit the ground running, but get your policy in place.
We need to look at now that he is coming to office on the background of support Sonko lent to him. What will be the relationship between the two?
How old is Sonko?
Sonko is 59.
That's a problem.
What will be the relationship between these two guys?
That's an interesting political question.
How would that impact the effectiveness of the governance? Because
But we saw this somewhere. Is it Gambia? Whose mentor, who came in through his mentor and then decided to arrest the mentor? Niger?
Yeah, Niger.
Yes, we saw that. We saw that.
And moreover, one of the weaknesses of Nigeria's first republic itself was because of this similar.
Yes.
Remember, Tafawa Balewa was the deputy leader in Northern People's Congress. While Sardauna was the leader, but Tafawa Balewa was the prime minister. So de facto, the jury, he was the prime minister. De facto, he had to revert back to Sardauna. So that times he couldn't make decision on his own. So the question now, what will be the relationship between these two guys?
Almost like in Ghana, we had a similar problem. Hilary Man in Morigala.
We can also look at
the kind of situation.
We remember
Metro TV, insightful and inspiring moments.
Has Christianity always been one of the religions in the world to you?
Oh, hallelujah. Praise God. Christianity is not a religion, neither is it a joining of a church and doing the Christian things like praying and giving and so on. Hallelujah. Christianity is the outworking of God's own kind of life received into the spirit of a man. Whoa! This divine life in the heart of a man makes him righteous, keeps him healthy, divinely guided in life, prosperous and victorious. It gives you the ability to enjoy intimate fellowship with the Father and have dominion on this earth. Hallelujah. This is what awaits you if you will wholeheartedly believe that Jesus is the Son of God raised from the dead and personally confess Him as the Lord of your life. Glory to God.
Hallelujah. Join Dr. David Binder on the Good Life Devotion every Monday to Friday on this channel.